It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Miss the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
Always a fun day when Psychic Kim is on your show. It's an even more fun day when she tries to get you fired. So that's coming up a little bit later on in the podcast. Let's go.
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo.
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo!
All right, guys, here's how listener bingo works. Only the first caller through gets to give us the details. Maybe, maybe you're somebody listening who
still has contact with their donor to this day. And I even opened it up to sperm donation. So any type of donation to you on a flight from Houston to Newark, New Jersey, a United Airlines pilot met up with a woman that was his bone marrow transplant donor.
This is the young lady that saved my life.
Wow.
More of a match for me than my own brother, and literally my body makes her blood. So I went from B positive to O negative.
There you go.
Crazy. And this wasn't planned. This is a complete random thing?
Yeah, she was on the flight, and I think he got word somehow. I don't know how the connection was made, but the fact that she was there and they still are in somewhat contact.
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go looking for anyone listening who is going to be like, a real non-traditional student. Either you are right now, I mean, like you're in your 40s or your 50s and you're going back to school. I always think of Rodney Dangerfield in that movie, and it was just so great with Sam Kinison. I want to bring Kendra on the show. Can you tell us the donor story? Go for it.
I lost my fiance 3 years ago in a motorcycle accident, and it's the guy that received his heart.
Oh,
wow.
So you're in touch with this guy to the day?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so he's waiting on the transplant list, and all of a sudden he gets the call, and you're like, cool. So I'm wondering, how do you know who this guy is? Like, is that privileged information that you got to go through a long process with?
The transplant, he was underage, but now that he turned 18, the records were opened.
Okay. Have you ever had a moment where they give you a stethoscope and you can listen?
Yep.
I know a lot of loved ones.
We did that this last summer.
No.
What's that like?
It was a bunch of emotions.
Oh, I'm sure. You're like, wow, that used to be the heart.
But it was great. The kid was awesome. He was amazing. The heart sounded amazing. We got another printout of his heartbeat so that we could have it after it was beating again.
Yeah.
Do they give you kind of like a time frame of like how long they expect this heart to work for him? I mean, is this for the rest of his life?
Yeah, as long as there's no rejections, there should be no issues.
Isn't the medical world just incredible what they can do?
And it's just incredible that, your fiance was willing to donate that. Like, he was a donor. Like, not a lot enough people aren't donors. It's a simple check mark on your license. And, obviously it's unfortunate, what happened to him, but somebody else has and probably will have a great life because he was generous.
What a beautiful story.
Yes.
I love this. We have actually time for two here real quick. Morning, Madison. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. And you're on the other side of this. You're a very non-traditional student. How so?
I am. So I am actually, I kind of fit the age. I'm 24 years old, but I'm actually a mom to 4 kids. So I went back.
Easy.
Yeah, I went back at 22 to start nursing school, and so now I'm a registered nurse. I think it's pretty non-traditional. I feel like it was kind of a juggle, with all the kids, but it was definitely rewarding and something that I'm so grateful for.
Are these all your biological kids, or is this like significant others?
Nope, they're all mine.
Wow.
I started pretty early. Yeah, you could probably hear one of them in the back. I started pretty early. I started at 17 is when I had my oldest, and she actually turned 7 today.
So when you went back for your nursing degree, were you actually in like classrooms with 18-year-olds and you felt like these kids know nothing? I'm already an established mother of 4.
Absolutely. I felt definitely out of place. Just having all the kids, we obviously didn't relate a whole lot in that aspect. But you definitely trauma bond when you go through school, I would say.
Yeah. And at no fault to theirs, they don't know what you're going through. So maybe their biggest problem is like, I have to walk to get a nautical ball after this and it's snowing. And you're like, well, I have 4 kids to get ready with their baths and everything like that. But this just set a really great example for your 7-year-old to know that, sometimes life throws you curveballs. It doesn't go exactly like how you planned, but you can make the most of it, which is cool.
Now, last question, Madison. Did you ever get the impression that these revved up, testosterone pumping 18-year-old young men were looking at you like the hot mom?
definitely did have a few passes made at me in school.
Nice.
I can imagine.
I have a very loving husband.
I can imagine myself at 18. If there was a hot mom in one of my classes, it would have been on.
Yeah.
Like I would have been like a piranha. It wouldn't have mattered if you had a ring on or anything. I would have been making that move.
So how old is your youngest, real quick?
So my youngest is 2. So I have obviously my 7-year-old now. I have a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and then my son's 4.
Wow. By the time you're 40, you're going to like live the best life. You're going to be out on, and all your friends are going to be like dealing with fifth graders.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say, I said, I'm sacrificing now so I can have fun later.
Good for you. I love the effort, and I'm so proud that you made that happen.
Yeah, well done, Madison. Thanks for checking in. This is a fun story. Hope you have a great day.
So if I had to think of any moment in my life that felt like it was from a movie, it would be the night I went on a date with that firefighter. And it felt like a rom-com where it wasn't exactly going how I thought it was going to go. And then I texted under the table my friend Ginger. And I was like, hey, come bail me out.
Bail me out.
She was a ride or die. Within 10 minutes, she was there and she was like, Kat, what are you doing here? I'm like, I'm here on a date. This is Chris. She's like, hi, Chris, how are you? And then she was like, oh my God, I need you. You have to help me. The family emergency. And I'm like, I am so sorry.
This guy didn't see through this?
I got to cut this short. No. But then I was so stupid and I talked about it on Monday on the radio.
Dummy.
And then he called in. He's like, oh, really? But yeah, it was one of those like Goldie Hawn, you know what I mean? Like those rom-coms.
So when you think about your life as a movie, you think about a rom-com. Like I instantly go to like sports classics.
Yeah.
I had one moment when I think I was 16, and I pitched both games in a doubleheader, and I had a no-hitter and a shutout. Like I was on fire that day. I threw 17 innings. Like it was amazing.
You just spoke Greek to me.
But
it must have been a big
for me,
deal.
it was like living in a movie. Like all I could imagine was like if the cameras were on me, and it was a gritty performance, and I was sweaty and I was dehydrated, and I was so focused in the no-hitter. And in baseball, it's really traditional that if somebody's throwing a no-hitter, you don't talk to them between innings when they're on the bench.
Yeah.
And then my entire team was doing that. They were all on one end of the bench, and I was on this end, and my dad was still coaching me at the time, and he wouldn't even talk to me between innings.
Really? Okay.
Catchers don't talk to nobody. You just go out and you do your business. You don't want to jinx anything. And I was like, I'd seen this play out a million times on TV and in a couple of movies, and I felt like I was in that moment.
Yeah.
Never forget that kind of thing. So that's what we're looking for this morning. Have you ever felt like you're in a movie? And Jeff, you're in that mode right now?
I mean, honestly, it feels like it's happening right now. Like some crazy romance is going on right now.
I'm glad you said romance. I'm glad you didn't say like horror or anything like that.
What's shaking?
No, it was back in November. It was around like Thanksgiving time. I was just at the grocery store. I ran into this just beautiful girl.
Yeah.
We just passed ways. But then I saw her at a bar like shortly after that. But then it just seems like the last few weeks I've been seeing her everywhere. She has no ring on. We lock eyes every time. And I get paralyzed. I can't think of anything to say. And I feel like I need to say something. I need to do something.
God.
I just don't know what it is.
You got to make a move, son.
This is beautiful.
You got to make a move.
But it's like how? Like how? He doesn't
feel like
know.
I keep
Exactly.
seeing you.
I just don't know how to like initiate without seeming like some weirdo. Like, hey, I see you everywhere. You know.
Listen, here's the deal. Like, I'm not, big romantic or anything, but just go, hey, it's destiny that we keep seeing each other, don't you think? And if she buys in, like, it's hook, line, and sinker. If not, then you got to move on.
What if she
no
says,
going
like,
back from
I've
that.
never seen you before? That would hurt.
Oh,
that would really hurt.
Yeah, are you sure she's seeing you?
Oh, yeah, you're right. She's like, who are you again?
Yeah. But I mean, the way you describe it, that's so beautiful. Like fireworks and then nothing. It does sound like a Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movie.
I mean, I can hope, right?
Sometimes, I would say actually on a daily, there will be a mom out there that will think that you're not doing your best. And that's a shame. I bet you just felt like, oh, I didn't have dinner on the table in time. I'm a horrible mom. Like we really hold ourselves to standards. But I want at those moments for you to remember that there are moms out there like this.
I want to introduce you to a lady who defines the word crazy. She pulls into the Apple Lounge and takes an 8-year-old child into the lounge while she orders a drink. The staff says, hey, you can't have a kid in a lounge. So she said, well, I'll take him out to his dad. So she leaves and comes back without him. She orders food and starts dancing. So they go out into the parking lot and they see 4 kids in an idling car. There's a 10-month-old baby girl, a 3-year-old baby boy, a 5-year-old girl, and the 8-year-old boy she took back to the parking lot. We arrive. We're trying to talk with her. She becomes totally belligerent. Then we tell her she's under arrest, and she fights with us and starts kicking the deputies. Well, that didn't work so well for her, so she goes to jail, and the children were turned over to DCF.
And there's a mom right now that's like, I didn't move my elf. You know what I mean? It's like, that makes me so sad that we get so down on ourselves.
So here's the weirdest part. I don't know if anyone else thought this while I was listening to that. If they would have let that 8-year-old be in there with her, then the 3 itty bitty kids, at the very least, the 8-year-old was probably responsible enough, knowing that she's this kind of a mother. He was probably responsible enough to at least take care of the other 3, because that isn't the first time he's been left with those 3.
Right.
But if that 8-year-old was in there, now you got a 5-year-old and a 10-month-old and a baby or something like that. That's absolutely ridiculous.
This is also a good moment for us to remember what law enforcement goes through. One of my best friends was a police officer for a long time, and you could slowly see them get a bit jaded.
Of course.
All they see are crap people all the time. And so if you catch them and you're like, wow, you're in a bad mood, they're probably having a pretty tough day, because they might have run into moms like that.
Yeah, take the kids away from mom and just to see that. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Your job is to make everything better if you can, protect and serve.
Yeah.
But to
know these kids are going, now they're in the system. You know what I mean? So this is a lesson as moms and dads. Give yourself some grace, because you didn't go to the Apple Lounge and dance your tail off while your kids were sitting in your sedan.
Now, in her defense, the Apple Lounge sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound
fun. They got food, they got drinks, they got dancing.
You should Google that.
Sometimes you can't blame them. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for asking. What would you like to ask Psychic Kim? This has to do with your ex, correct?
Yes.
Okay, shoot.
In late 2019, we separated. In early 2021, we divorced. I do not receive any child support, and we share 50-50 custody and responsibilities of our 14-year-old daughter. He has been good at covering his 50% up to September. As of September, he has stopped paying for her activities. And I am barely making ends meet covering that and making sure she's continuing to do what she's always been doing.
Yeah.
Am I going to go after him? Am I going to make it? Is she going to continue to do what she wants to do and has been doing? Is child support in the picture? Am I going to have to go after him? Is he going to do it on his own?
Okay, well, let's start there, Kim. Is it the right move for her to try and get some child support out of him now? Is that the right angle?
I hear there's a high percentage chance that you will do that, but I hear communicate first to find out what is going on in his life, and if he chooses not to communicate, then go down the path of legal means. But I hear there's probably something happening in his life that you're unaware of that needs to be addressed first, and an agreement can come into play, but if you both choose to be a little judgmental, then it goes to courts.
And that's probably the last move, right? Like, you don't want to do that.
I don't, and I do know he has something personally going on in his life, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still responsible for her.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he's not taking that responsibility.
Well, maybe even the threat of, hey, we're going to end up having to, go through mediation with something like this is going to, maybe trigger him to be like, all right, I got to realign my priorities.
I hope so. I tried that. That didn't seem to work either.
I'm sorry you're in such a spot. Sometimes when they're so far removed and they're not in the daily grind like, most single moms are, they don't get it. They don't get how hard and expensive kids are.
So maybe try that path one more time. Otherwise, lawyer up, I guess.
Yep. I'm doing that right now.
All right, Julie. Hey,
okay.
Good luck with this, and I hope you have a great morning. Thanks for letting us be part of it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Good morning, Olivia. How you feeling?
Good. How are you?
Really good. Thanks for asking. What would you like to ask Psychic Kim this morning?
I was just wondering if I'm meant to have another baby.
Ooh, how many you got?
Yes.
Just one, but I don't know if I want to be one and done or have another.
What do you think, Kim? You said yes right away?
Yep. Right away, I heard yes.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Yes, keep going.
Yeah.
Now you know how to do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, have fun trying. And obviously, Kim, can you tell, do you feel any sense of, when she might get pregnant?
It won't be right away. There's something with October and November really stand out strongly. So that, I don't know if that's the due date or that's when you get pregnant, but there's something around October, November that's very strong for you in regards to baby.
Okay, I'm getting married in September, so.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Consummate at the wedding. Yeah.
Okay, settle down.
Let's go. Hello, Crystal. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Great, thank you. Now, you're donating some of your eggs? Is that what I'm hearing here?
Yeah, I just signed up with a service to see if I can donate some eggs for a family who wants to have a baby.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if that will work out for me in the future.
Oh, Kim, what's this looking like?
This is interesting because I hear yes, but there are some hesitations. Ooh, time. Okay. There's a little bit of time constraint. There's some timing on it that doesn't work out instantly, but I hear you keep trying, and it will pan out. It will work out very well. It's just there's a timing issue that's occurring. So I don't know if that's on your end or if that's the clinic end. I'm not quite for sure on that one, but yeah.
Hey, if you don't mind me prying a little bit, Crystal, when did you make this decision, and what makes you decide that this is a route you want to go?
I've always had it in the back of my head, even before I had my child, that I kind of always wanted to do it. And now that I'm content with having my kiddo, I'm not too concerned if I ever have more in the future. And
sure. It's a very giving thing. I mean, it's a very generous deal. I mean, people are going to have a family because you decided to part with some of these.
Yeah.
And mentally, you're able to do it, right? Because you're merely a vessel. Nothing about the baby would be yours.
But what if they become rich and famous? Do you go after them for a bunch of money?
Right.
No.
You sure? You say that
no
now.
Yet.
Yeah, because I would, and I think you would too. All right. Hey, thanks, Crystal. Nonetheless, kudos to you for doing what you're doing. I hope you have a great morning.
Oh, you too. Thanks.
Take care. I got time for maybe two more here real quick. Sherry, good morning. How we feeling?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. We had talked a little bit off the air when I was screening your call, and you said, so you're currently raising your grandson, and he's struggling a little bit in school. So when we know that, what's your question for Kim?
So, yeah, and so I'm just wondering, do you see coming after the first of the year or so, him actually finally, doing better in school, or going to find a plan that's going to work for him finally?
No, not right away.
Oh, no.
I'm honest. He needs a little extra more support than what is being currently offered. I hear more one-on-one therapy. He gets really distracted and almost annoyed by lights, sounds, too many people all around. But yet, if he's one-on-one with a person, I see him distracted too. So there has to be a fine line. He's very good with hands-on and hands-on doing applications versus having to sit there and read and trying to concentrate. He's more of a hands-on doer and learning that way.
That's him. You're telling exactly. That's exactly him to a T. We're trying to get him in online to see maybe if he has ADD, and there's such a long line. But we're trying to push ahead. So maybe that's what it is, and then hopefully once they can get him diagnosed, they can figure a plan, do something with it. But oh my God, well.
Yes.
I know I'm not going crazy then. So thank you so much, and have a Merry Christmas.
Well, he's very lucky to have you, by the way, for stepping in and not allowing him to go live with somebody else that's not family.
Yeah. And I can only imagine how frustrating this is, knowing you want the best for your child and then not fully understanding the route to go. So hopefully that offered you a little bit of clarity. So I'll move on. I got one more real quick. Chelsea, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You're our last caller this round with Psychic Kim. And what do you want to know? What do you want to ask?
So currently right now, I'm commuting about an hour each direction for work every day. And it's for a job that I really enjoy, really love. But we're kind of deciding, do we move to be closer to the job? Can we have another kid? Or is it something that I need to start looking for a different job in the future, that this one won't be a long-term thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's just start with that. Kim, should she start looking for another gig?
No, you're supposed to stay there.
Oh.
I hear you like it. Why would you leave? Most people dream for a nice job.
Yeah, right.
So you need to stay. I do see you closer, like maybe 35 to 40 minutes away. That's kind of the timing that they're getting. They said, do not get too close, but yet closer. And I said, I'm hearing the schools will be better too.
Oh.
So awesome.
Level up.
Thank you so much.
Friday, on our last live show of the year, we're going to give away $500 cash thanks to our friends at Pepsi. Hopefully that money goes in your pocket. Johnny D will be here with a couple of mixes. It'll just be a fun way to wrap up the week, which has been kind of stressful for everyone. So get back in here for the live show starting at 6 Friday morning. Right now, we'll wrap up the podcast. My boys had got me for Christmas last year a cross pendant, but it's baseball bats crossed, right?
Oh.
So it's a metal cross, but not like a traditional flat cross. It's got, baseball bats. And we moved in May, and obviously I was wearing it one day, and it fell off. I don't know where the chain is.
Yeah.
But I had thought about it, and I thought maybe I just misplaced it, because when you're moving, you just got stuff everywhere. And all of a sudden, the cross is there. And I was like, oh, my God, I found it. So I was really, really happy about that. So it made me start thinking about, have you ever lost something, and then you found it, and it just made your day? You ever had one of these kind of things happen?
Well, it didn't make my day because I had to cancel it. But when we did that big purge of our garage, I found my debit card underneath our golf closet. So it had fallen out of somewhere, my purse, my wallet, pocket, whatever, and then slid under there. And I remember it was like a day and a half of chaos. I had called and stopped it. I didn't cancel it yet. And then when I couldn't find it, then I had to reorder it. But
so you just had to chop it up?
All you do is think about some person out there with like one of those robber masks on, just like buying everything at Walmart, So I hate that feeling.
I would have done a lot better online than just going to Walmart with a robber mask on. Nikki, how are you this morning?
Pretty good.
Good. You lost it, you found it, and made your day. What'd you lose?
Well, my wedding ring for my ex-husband, I had put it up in a closet when we had moved. And my loving 10 and 6-year-old had found it.
Okay.
And they were playing with it. I found it when we were redoing their bedroom. And so I just, threw it on one of my fingers. It was a little loose. Didn't think anything of it. Was wrapping up some plastic, threw it in a garbage bag. And then I went to look for it later that day. I'm like, oh, my gosh, where did it go? I ended up grabbing, the stuff we were going to donate, the garbage, everything. It was wrapped up in the plastic at the bottom of the bag that was had to go to the garbage.
So you wouldn't have found it if you wouldn't have been donating that stuff or throwing it out?
No. Nope.
And how many people just dump their entire garbage can? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that could have easily just fallen completely away.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to give it to her, for like graduation, something like that,
sure.
Because it was from her dad to me. So pass it down because that's what my mom had done from my dad to me when I got married. And so I was quite thankful that I found it.
Did you put it in a safe spot now? Like, do you know where it is so you don't lose it again?
It's in a safe now.
Okay.
It's in a safe now.
Gotcha. All right. Well, fun story. Hey, thanks for sharing with us. Hope you have a great day today.
You too.
Hey, Katie, tell me what you lost and then you found. It was kind of a weird situation.
It was my sister's ashes in a cross necklace.
Oh.
And it fell off. It was a little cross hanging from the chain. It was a year later, and I found it in the couch.
Oh.
So I put it back. Yes, it was devastating.
Yeah, I mean, you lose something it's that important, and then all of a sudden you find it in the the couch cushions are always a go-to spot. I got time for one more of these real quick. What'd you find, and how long had you lost it?
Yeah, so I was 16 years old. I was given $500 cash for my birthday, and I hid it because I was convinced somebody was going to steal it.
Sure.
And found it months later in my freezer behind food. Apparently, that's where I hid it. It was funny because I hid it so it wouldn't get stolen, and then I was convinced somebody stole it because I couldn't find it.
Oh, glad you found it. Thanks for calling. So I'm not trying to turn this into something negative.
Okay.
But you are a day closer to dead than you were at this time yesterday.
Well, duh.
So let's start thinking about your funeral, Kat.
Huh?
Munchkins will be celebrating all over the place, dancing down the yellow brick road, singing The Wicked Witch is Dead. But there will be a select few, not sure who they are yet, but they'll be mourning. And you want to pull a great surprise at your own funeral. Something you need to have at your funeral. Something that would say, this life was well spent. And when I asked you this morning, you gave me the ridiculous answer of...
Oh, my God, I forgot. Kenny G.
You want Kenny G to be playing at your funeral.
Yeah.
And who's going to be able to afford getting Kenny G at your funeral?
Kim Kardashian.
Your best friend.
I'm going to have someone write her and tug at her heartstrings, which is so easily done. She loves to help people out right now. She knows Kenny G.
If you die
he woke
in prison,
her up for Mother's Day. Don't you remember?
If you die in prison, she might be able to get Kenny G to do this, which is I think the odds of that happening are very high. I would like to have a barbershop quartet.
You would?
At my funeral. I think because they're so upbeat and always in harmony.
That's true.
I think that would be great. Sing a couple of songs at my funeral. Just get up there. One guy go boom, boo-da, boom, boo-da, and then they just start singing.
Kenny G's so sexy, though. So everyone will be like in the mood.
To do it at your funeral.
After.
Oh.
Yeah.
I threw this up on our Facebook page. We've got some very interesting answers, but I wanted to ask you, if you could plan your funeral, maybe you already have, what's one odd request you have? Kat wants Kenny G. I want a barbershop quartet. Doesn't have to be about the music. Yeah. It's a celebration of your life. When they close the book and the casket on you and people talk about your funeral years later, they'll talk about what unique aspect.
I want amazing food. I want people to be like, I want her to die again so we can eat like kings and queens.
What's your odd request? One day, they are going to roll your old dead bones in front of a bunch of people, and they're going to have to say their last goodbyes, pay their respects to you.
Oh, well said.
You really want to shock them at your funeral. You want Kenny G playing there. I said I wanted to do a barbershop quartet. A lot of stuff coming in through Facebook and texting.
I love Lisa. Margaritas.
Ooh, what's up?
A mimosa bar. See, that's the thing. I thought that they were really onto it when we talked about that Iowa funeral home yesterday.
Yeah,
that was
that's
getting
what
their liquor
kind of got me there. I was like, to imagine going to a funeral and being able to have a, big 16-ounce beer while you're listening to the...
Walk into champagne with a little raspberry on the bottom. That makes me happy.
That's too classy for me. Mike said barbecue and tailgating.
Okay.
I get it. Mary, SpongeBob playing on the big screen. That's all.
I wouldn't like that.
Lisa has an interesting take. She said, make my funeral as witchy as possible. I want booze and witch themes.
Okay. I love the people that have already hired someone to stand in the back with sunglasses and a black trench coat.
Just stand there and not
just
say anything.
Run out as fast as you can.
Like they had to make sure you were dead?
You gotta leave people wondering, like, who was that?
Funny.
What kind of life were they living?
Just one guy. But find the tallest dude you can find. Black sunglasses. Just stands there with his hands crossed through the whole thing, and as soon as it's done, he just turns and leaves.
But the only people that could really get away with it are people that were just like super squeaky clean their whole life, because then that's even more funny because you're like, there's no way she was capable of doing anything.
Text from Terry who said, Bloody Mary machine with the best Tito's vodka and the biggest pickles money can buy.
Oh, I love that.
Specific
I'll
with the
go.
Tito's, not just rail.
Yeah.
She wants the Tito's. Nick had said, I told my wife she needs to hire a famous person to come to my funeral, like Uncle Jesse from Full House. Everyone at the funeral will be like, is that Uncle Jesse? Did Nick know Uncle Jesse?
Yeah.
How does he know him? Uncle Jesse is in tears.
Yeah. I'd probably set up like 5 cameos and blow all my money that way and have people be super uber celebrities.
You think they'll do that on Cameo? I mean, they'll do pretty much anything you want. But like if you were to get, I don't know, like Jake Gyllenhaal to do a cameo. God,
He's not on there.
So who's the most famous, do you think, on Cameo?
They probably have them highlighted in their top 10 on the front page.
Sarah said, so my mom has her entire funeral planned out. She has it typed up and picked her own music. the colors she wants.
Okay.
And she wants people to say what kind of food they want us all to eat, and then we're supposed to make it. She talks about it all the time. It's so annoying because she's not even 60. Obviously, it makes me just feel like a baby. I hate her talking about it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it. My grandmother talks about her impending death all the time, and I just don't like it. Gives me an icky feeling.
How old, Grandma?
95.
Damn.
She's not feeling the best in her hip right now, and they just kind of hang out in their basement. And normal people that are really busy, they're like, wow, that sounds like a dream to sit there and watch the snow fall. But she's kind of bored, So I feel like
95, though. God, I can't even imagine what she's seen in her life.
Oh, I know. Her stories are incredible. So
you know what you should do over the holidays? You bring a video recorder, you set it up, and you have her put together her top 10 memories.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Of life.
Yeah.
I mean, you pass that around at Christmas, at any other time, and just be like, this was Grandma Ellie's life.
I videotaped her the other day at lunch. And she didn't know because, old people don't get that they're being videotaped, So I secretly set up my phone.
Cutest.
She's so cute. And she was right here talking about how she just didn't want to get Grandpa donuts at the store. She wanted to get fruits and vegetables because he loves just junk food.
And he's 96?
And I said, he's 96.
Jesus, get him whatever he wants.
That's what I said.
Get him a pack of Camels if he wants.
She got him some Glazers. So.
Yeah, let the boy eat.
I know.
If
Secretly record your old loved ones because it's so funny. And then you'll want to look back and just remember them like that. Totally worth it. And don't feel bad that you're secretly recording them. It's not like you're putting it on the internet.